I've been the subject of some drama for nearly 2 weeks now, involving this girl I used to be friends with on Facebook, who claimed through a video she posted on TikTok that I groomed her from when she was 15 to when she was 17. I did my best to address the claims in a response video, and while not everyone was on my side after I posted it, many people were, and to them, I'm truly grateful for the love and support you've given me. But in retrospect, I don't think I did a good enough job addressing all the claims that were made. And after I recorded that video, she had posted more TikToks adding more fuel to the fire and started making other claims about me. I thought everything would just die down after a week or so and then I could move on with my life. But this has just been eating me up inside ever since. So now I'm going to try even harder to state a more definitive case and add some clarification to my side of the story. I am going to be showing her TikToks here, but out of respect, I'm going to cover her face and blur out the usernames of people who commented on her TikToks to protect the identities of her and her followers. It should also be mentioned that these videos were recorded using screen capture and not directly downloaded from the app or the website. Anyone who claims that I had hacked into her account to get these videos is clearly giving me too much credit. I already have enough trouble logging into my own social media accounts, let alone someone else's. This will be the last time I ever talk about this. I'm not going to tell you who's the good guy and who's the bad guy, and I have no idea what the reactions are going to be. But I know that there will be those who believe me and those who don't, and I'm not afraid to face whatever responses I get. If you're with me, thank you. If you're against me, that's absolutely fine. I understand. I'm just going to stay true to myself and tell you what I know in my heart is right. This girl that I'm referring to is named Rachael, according to both of her active Facebook pages, and she had shared screenshots of a Facebook conversation we had in April 2019, using them as evidence to back up her claims. However, that was only a small portion of other conversations we had. I'd been talking to Rachael since 2016 through 2 Facebook accounts that she had created. Her first account has since been deleted, so I can't provide screenshots of the conversations we had there, but thankfully I was able to grab screenshots from her second account, so now I'd like to go into further detail about what our conversations there were really like. She and I had sent messages back and forth while she was using this account from July 2017 to April 2019, not including attempts on my part to reach out to her after this time, or the message I sent apologizing to her. These are some casual conversations we had discussing things happening in our lives and videos I was working on at the time. Rachael and I were really close friends, about on the level of siblings. In fact, around the time of National Siblings Day, she posted something related to me and another person. I know we aren't blood siblings, but you've known me for about 3 years, and you both are the best older brothers I could ask for. Thanks for always being there. During our chats, she'd gone through a breakup and at one point even fractured her wrist from tripping on her dog. So it seemed to me as if I was providing her with a lot of emotional support, or at least enough for her to show appreciation in a public post. And I really was wishing the best for her because she was my friend. Our messages, however, weren't quite so frequent. There's a gap between October 15th, 2017 and February 6th, 2019, where we had stopped sending messages to each other. I'd been busy with other things going on at that time, and then one day I decided to check up on her and see what she's been up to. That's when she had mentioned fracturing her wrist and tripping over her dog. I said I hoped everything gets better for her, and that's when we started chatting again. For this next part, I'd like to quickly go over the definition of grooming. Grooming is the practice of building a relationship, trust, and emotional connection with a child or young person to manipulate, exploit, and abuse them. Now, let me make something perfectly clear. I am 100% with every fiber of my being completely against pedophilia. I have absolutely no respect for pedophiles, and just the thought of being considered one makes me sick to my stomach. My friends and family will be quick to tell you I am not a pedophile, and I would certainly never even consider grooming anybody. Rachael claimed that I had asked for feet pics multiple times, but throughout these conversations, I had only ever directly asked for feet pics twice. She had sent me 3 the first time I asked, and those were the only 3 she ever sent. Other times we would joke about sending pics back and forth without actually sending them, or mention it offhand and, again, never get around to sending them. And I never pressured her into sending them frequently. If she never got around to sending any, I wouldn't mind. Both of her currently active accounts list her year of birth to be either 2001 or 2002, meaning I was 19 and she was only 14 or 15 by the time we met. The screenshots she posted were from April 2019, when she would have been either 17 or 18. So yes, under US law, she was technically a minor. Asking for feet pics in the first place was weird for me to do, and the jokes we made certainly don't help in justifying my behavior. But nothing about our interactions ever got sexual. I never requested her to partake in anything other than roleplay or casual conversation. Our roleplays only involved hugging and tickling with no sexual motivation whatsoever. I had no intention of doing anything with the feet pics she sent me other than just looking at them. And if there was a situation where she wasn't comfortable sending pictures or doing something she didn't want to do, I wouldn't push her. At the time, she was perfectly okay with it. I never intended to take advantage of her or manipulate her into thinking it was playful. She showed no signs of being uncomfortable with what we were doing, and though it's certainly weird in hindsight, we were just being funny and safe and playful with each other. Some form of consent was involved, and she and I never engaged in any sexual activity, nor did I ever want us to. To many people, certain interests of mine have been made apparent in some form over the past couple years, but I am perfectly capable of separating how I practice them in personal situations and how I practice them in more public and casual settings. If it gets to be a little too much for one person, I'll be quick to dial back and move away from it if it means making that person more comfortable. Fetishes aren't something to push in other people's faces if they don't want to know about them, but they're also not something to be ashamed of if it's what you personally are into. Unless it's pedophilia, in which case, shame on you. And hey, my interests involve something that makes people laugh. That's not exactly the worst thing to be into, but I do have my limits with certain people. When I reached out to Rachael after her first TikTok was brought to my attention, she said that she felt scared when posting it in a message that she had since retracted. This has been an awkward situation for me because, from my perspective, it felt as if I'd been stabbed in the back by this person who I used to consider a close friend. And it's rough, because it's like no matter how hard I try to be a good person and settle things peacefully, I just get punished for it. But I don't think I'm completely in the right here. What happened between us might not have really been as bad as she made it out to be, but I was still careless. I was excited to have a friend or a sibling that I could just have fun and mess around with, and that's all I ever wanted out of our friendship. But I let that excitement cloud my judgment, so I did some dumb things because of that. She said that she didn't mean for the accusations to blow up the way that they did, or to get me cancelled, but by making such bold claims and telling people to stay away from me, essentially an act of cancel culture, she didn't seem to really care if things got out of hand. Not accepting my apology was one thing, but then she threatened my girlfriend by saying she would get the police involved, possibly lied about losing her job because she filmed the videos at her workplace, hinted that she got a hold of my IP address, meaning she could potentially try to dox me, which would be illegal, and in a way, essentially committed acts of slander. Please understand, I'm not mentioning these to paint her as the bad guy in this story. I'm just giving you an idea of how much she's been blowing this out of proportion. And yes, nothing can change what happened, but everyone has the ability to grow and change. We are all toxic in our own ways. It doesn't in any way affect what happened, but harping on mistakes that you've made in the past isn't gonna help in preparing yourself for what the future might hold. Even though what I did wasn't technically or legally wrong, I am willing to recognize my own problematic behavior and do my best to move on from it. For as much of an effort to change as I plan on making, Rachael may still never forgive me, and at this point, I've completely accepted that. She doesn't have to forgive me, but if she can't seem to recognize her own problematic behavior, I fear that it's going to leave a negative impact on her life going forward. TikTok is supposedly getting shut down soon, or maybe it has by the time I put this video up, but videos on the app could possibly be archived, including hers if she doesn't delete them. Not that I'm demanding her to, but someone down the line will come across them, and that's really gonna come back to haunt her. That being said, to the people watching right now, please do not harass or make fun of her. I repeat, do not harass her. Don't insult her, don't tell her she's an idiot, and especially don't tell her to kill herself because that's just wrong. I don't condone harassment of any kind, verbal, physical, sexual, online, etc. I don't want to insinuate that Rachael posted all those things about me just to get attention, because I believe there's a chance that she has been abused in some capacity. I hope that's not the case. She could just be doing this for attention, but I'm genuinely concerned about her well-being, and I don't think having hordes of people rip her to shreds is gonna help the situation or make her feel any better about what she said. I can't even begin to imagine what she must be dealing with, but whatever it is, in spite of everything she's done to try and tarnish my reputation, I am more than willing to help her get the help she might need. In fact, if you yourself have been a victim of abuse, please call the National Sexual Assault Telephone Hotline. I also strongly suggest you consider donating to Mental Health America and the Anxiety and Depression Association of America, two fantastic nonprofit organizations devoted to helping treat people with mental health issues such as anxiety, depression, OCD, and PTSD, among others. I'll put links to these causes in the description for you to look at, along with some others that I also feel are worth looking at. I'm not sure how Rachael is going to respond to this video, or if she'll even see it, but if she does, here's what I want her to take away from all this, if she even gets to this point. Rachael, and I mean this with complete sincerity, I won't force you to forgive me. You really don't have to if you don't want to. Mentally or physically, you're probably not in a very good place right now. Trust me, I've been there. But I won't make any assumptions about what you might be going through. I just want you to know that, even after all that's happened, I still believe that you're a good person. Our friendship might have fallen apart, but that doesn't mean I ever stopped wanting what was best for you. I don't want to see you wallowing in despair or feeling worthless. I want you to find something that brings you joy and happiness, and, at the risk of sounding like a Hallmark card, I hope that, with all my heart, your future only gets better and brighter from here.